Hello, you huggable lollipops. I am Joseph the Huggist, and today I'm playing Zen Pinball 2, the Star Wars table, the Force Awakens one, Episode 7. And what is the plot of... Well, of course I'm doing it because I want to review it. But what is the plot of Episode 7? 3 decades after the Empire's defeat, a new threat arises in the militant First Order. Defective Stormtrooper Finn and Salvager Ray are caught up in the Resistance search for missing Luke Skywalker. Man, my dyslexia got the best of me on that one. And this movie came out in 2015, I believe. I was 26 at the time. And it came out the day of my birthday, which was really exciting because I got to celebrate my birthday at the theater watching this movie. So, that was the plot. The times, how many times I lost interest? I only lost interest once, and that was when Finn was talking about how everyone should run from the First Order. That scene, I always hated that scene. It definitely, I don't know why. How it looked, it sort of looked like a Star Wars film, but it looked more like the new Star Trek films, which is how it's gonna look because the guy made both of them. The same guy, J.J. Abrams, and...
Keep shooting! Nice shot!
And it looked good enough. It obviously looked better than the prequels. It sounded like a Star Wars movie because they used a lot of the old Star Trek. I mean, Star Wars, sorry, the sound is off on the video. And it's really annoying. I'm going to have to change it. No sound video, that's great. I'm going to have to put in some generic music or something because the footage got messed up. So, it sounded like... that's funny. It sounded like a Star Wars movie. And... mainly because they used old Star Wars sounds and new old Star Wars music. I don't remember hearing anything original in it. Now the first character I want to talk about is Poe, and from the very first scene I fell in love with him. With who's gonna talk first? You gonna talk first? Should I talk first? I thought he was very good, a very cool character in this movie. He's obviously a great pilot.
Keep shooting.
And the second character is Kylo Ren, who is sort of like how I just used the analogy when we got to see Luke become from a kid to a teen to an adult. As Kylo Ren is a teen. He is a temper tantrum kid who doesn't know how to cope with his emotions. He's an emo kid. Character number 3 is Rey, there's a lot of unanswered questions with Rey that they give in this movie. Like, why does she wants to stay on Jakku because of her parents? Her parents, who obviously doesn't like her, or doesn't want her and love her. Does she have a emotional attachment to Finn, who she just met? Like, why does she like Finn so much? She did save his life. There's a lot of unanswered questions about how. Now, a lot of people call her Mary Sue because she's so good at everything. I always figured it was because she spent at least 20 years on Jakku. At least. Let's say she was put there like 7 and she's... I don't know how old she is, but if she's like 25, 20, in between 25 27, she spent 20 years. That's a lot of time scavenging, and she found the Imperial Walker, so maybe there was some reading material. Maybe she did a lot of training on her own. She survived on a desert planet all by herself. The Jakku tattoo, the new Tatooine, which is the new ghetto of the galaxy.
Lock is lit.
Now, my least favorite scene in the movie.
Keep shooting.
Now, my least favorite scene in the movie is the scene where Captain Phasma just lowers the shield generator. Like, if she's a good Imperial, First Order soldier, I'm gonna have to stop saying Imperial. If she's a good First Order soldier, Captain, she would have rather die than give up let down the shield. It's something out of character for a good officer. I did not like that scene. I probably will never like that scene. Now, my favorite scene in the movie is the Poe Dameron's X-Wing tracking shot, which is one of the most beautiful scenes in the entire movie. And that's the only scene in this movie that gives me goosebumps every time. It's, for me, that's the Darth Maul scene in episode 1. That's this movie scene for me. I remember that scene from the first time I saw it, and it's what I'm gonna be looking forward to. So, my thoughts on the movie.
There is no Jedi who can
The
save
Emperor's
you
goal
now.
was to take over the galaxy and kill the Jedi. His primary goal was to take over the galaxy, and he just happened to accomplish his second goal at the same time.
I've been waiting for this day.
But he was always so confident he could take down the Jedi that he really wasn't afraid of them. Once he accomplished taking over the Jedi and pretty much taking over the galaxy and destroying the Jedi Order, he really didn't care about the 2 Master Jedi that were alive. He searched for them. He could never find them, even though one of them was literally in an easy planet to find. But the First Order's goal, their goal is to kill Luke Skywalker, who basically is Yoda or Obi-Wan, who's pretty much hiding from the world right now. He just wants to be left alone. They couldn't care less about him. I mean, he couldn't care less about anything. So I believe their priorities are way out of whack. They should be focusing on taking over the galaxy, not destroying the Last Jedi. Which they shouldn't even be that afraid of. How strong is Kylo Ren? He is the only Force sensitive person I've ever seen to stop a laser bolt with his hand and hold it there. That's super impressive. I guess it's because he's a third generation Force sensitive human, and happens to be his grandfather was one of the most powerful Force sensitive people, and then his mom is also never trained but apparently very Force sensitive. It's amazing. One of the highlights of the movie.
You're doomed.
Paper turn there. Is 60 portions like 60 pouches of water? Will that last her 2 months? Because if so, she turned down a lot of water on the planet that doesn't have a very lot. But then again, if she accepted that water, how many raiders do you think would come by and try to steal that from her? How does Ray, who lives on a planet where droids are
Lock is lit.
apparently not very common and be so common that I'm gonna say be offered 2 months worth of water, how does she know how to talk to droids if there are no droids around? Especially BB-8? That seemed a little odd to me. How come Rey knows how to fight? Wait a minute, I think that is the same exact point. Nope. How come Rey knows how to fight, fly, and talk to droids, but she didn't believe that there's another planet that could be filled
Nice
with
shot.
all those trees. Weird. Finn's flight or fight reflex is
Great.
on definite flight. It's not just a regular flight. It's like Superman flight, where he's out of there at hyper speed. How is Finn a stormtrooper, a trained stormtrooper, and he didn't know what an explosive looks like?
Nice shot.
That also, I didn't get that too. I know he was a sanitation worker, but they did have him working on a mission, a combat mission, so I don't get that. Where are the Y-Wings? You know, the bombers in the Starfleet? I love the X-Wing, but they're not exactly known for their ability to blow up ships. I mean, Luke got very lucky with his being able to destroy the Death Star, but the bombers are specifically made to
Lock is lit.
bomb everything. And yet there isn't a single Y-Wing in the movie. Like, they're slower, but they're more effective at that. I don't understand that at all. And this really isn't a fault. This is more like a... No, the R2D2 thing
you.
turning on at just randomly when all the fighting's done is bullshit. That is really bullshit. It's what, did he have a virus and he was fighting a virus all that time? I don't get that.
Perfect.
So overall, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It's an alright movie. It's a remake of A New Hope without it being a remake of A New Hope. And it sucks because it's the next movie also follows the formula of the original trilogy, which I feel like it throws the balance of the movies off, but that's just my personal point of view. If I was going to recommend it to someone, I would recommend a 5 out of 5, but every Star Wars episode movie is going to get a 5 out of 5 from me. And that could be because I'm just a fanboy. Alright, and that's all I got to say about that one. Well, except I did see it in theaters like 5 times. So, thanks for watching the video. Have some grape juice, and I'll see you for the next movie review video thing. Bye.